Well, thank you for staying with us on the AM show. We talk rabies now, and we're hosting in the studio Dr. Richard Suire. He is a senior lecturer, University of Ghana School of Veterinary Medicine, and president of the Rabies in West Africa, Ghana, a local NGO involved in rabies prevention. Dr. Suire, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us on the show.
You're most welcome.
He's a very humble man. Anyway, when we think rabies, a lot of people just think, we are thinking of dogs, but it's much more than just dogs. And people are thinking, you may have a phobia of water and you may act a little weird. But what exactly is this viral disease, rabies? What is it?
I'm happy you are starting from that angle because it's not just dogs.
Yeah.
It is not just dogs at all. Yeah. So rabies, we say, is zoonotic, meaning it is a disease that can be transmitted from animal to human, and is caused by a virus, a small germ that we can all see. And this virus is a group of them. It's not just one virus. So what we know in the dogs is the classical rabies virus. Okay. That is the common one. But there are about 9 different viruses that causes rabies. Yeah.
So 9 of them?
9 different types.
What are we looking at?
And which the last publication is 14.
Wow. So now 14 of them.
Yes.
And which animals are the hosts where it usually,
we don't talk of a host. The reservoir is actually the bat.
The bat, yes.
That's what we are
because I know of that as well.
Yes, and the reservoir is the animal in which the bat stays and doesn't cause any harm to it. The virus stays and doesn't cause any harm.
Right. So but once it passes on?
When it passes on to other animals, it is able to cause rabies.
And that's why it's zoonotic, because it can be transferred to other animals and then to human beings.
To human, it's called zoonotic. But other animals can also get sick. The dog is one of them, the cats, and other wild animals. The horse, the cow, the elephant, they all get rabies.
And so all of these animals, and interestingly,
warm-blooded
all of these animals, warm-blooded, and, well, a lot of them are kept as pets. People keep even elephants as pets.
People keep them as pets.
People keep horses as pets.
People keep them as
dogs
pets.
as pets.
Sure.
So it's a very tricky terrain we're on, because the very animals you are keeping, if you don't give them the right vaccinations, and we'll get there, then it means you are exposing yourself to a certain risk.
Very true. Very, very true.
Beyond these animals, are there any others? Do those in the lizard family? Because I know people who sometimes keep, what do you even call these ones? The name just...
The python. The royal
No,
python.
not even a python. The lizards.
The lizards, yes.
These...
Agama or something. Monitor lizards.
Not even monitor lizards. There are these ones. I've just forgotten the name.
Okay.
When it comes, as pets.
Yes.
Can they transmit or host?
No. They are warm.
Because they are cold-blooded.
They are cold-blooded animals.
They can't.
And for them to get rabies, it means you have to heat the whole animal to the temperature by which this virus can survive and then multiply in that animal.
Okay, so
which we are not interested in doing.
Which we don't want to do, because that would result in chaos.
Exactly.
So the warm-blooded animals, what usually is the mode of transmission? Our dogs, for example, because that is the common example, that's what most people know. How do they contract them? By eating maybe a bat or something?
No, but the virus must be introduced first to the animal or to the human being. So you have a bite from a bat, and the dog is sleeping there, or the dog sees a bat on the street and goes to attack it, and if it's rabid, if that bat is having a rabies, it introduces the virus through its saliva to the dog. So through a cat, maybe licking or biting, it introduces the virus to the dog. The virus is in that area where the bite has taken place. It multiplies there, and then with time, it gains access into the nerve that supplies blood or that innervates that area. So it gets into the nerves, and from there it starts moving until it gets to the spinal cord or the brain. It can't do anything. So the success of the virus is to get into the brain. And when it gets into the brain, then it multiplies very fast, spread to other organs, and start causing the disease.
And that's where we have a problem, because the nervous system practically holds you.
Exactly.
Your brain dictates to your heart. Your heart doesn't
It takes
just
care
beat.
of everything,
Your,
yes.
your brain dictates to the
Dictate
heart.
to your
to
dad,
beat.
yeah.
It
Yeah,
tells you when you're hungry. It gives you signals. Now,
Exactly.
if those signals are disrupted,
Then
or
you are dead.
then you have a problem.
Yes, but the other thing is that when it's in the nerve, the virus is not accessible.
Once it gets into the nerves,
Yes.
you can't tackle the virus.
But which drug can get into the nerve? Because
Wow.
when you get into the brain, it's enveloped. The brain has got a barrier. So when you get into the brain and it's in the barrier, it is not possible for you to treat it again. It's covered by the barrier.
So then
The
what
brain barrier.
window, for example, a dog that
Yes.
has got rabies,
Yes.
what window do you have to treat it, or a human being who has got it as well? When it becomes zoonotic, it has jumped from the animal to the human.
Yes.
What is the window? Within which time?
So that
Time
is
frame.
when we say you have not got the disease yet, the clinical manifestation. So from the bite until the clinical manifestation, you have got that window. And it varies depending on the site of the bite. If it bites closer to the brain, then it's likely that...
So, for example,
you
if the
have
bite is at your
incubation
neck,
period. Yeah, so you have
are in
very
serious trouble compared
Yeah.
to someone who gets bitten on the leg.
on the leg down there.
Wow.
And also depending on the volume, the dose of the virus that is introduced into the bite. So if it's a serious bite, a massive bite, and so much virus load is introduced into you, then you have a problem.
So, in other words, you get bitten by any of these warm-blooded animals, don't take the risk. Immediately,
You report to
you must report to a hospital facility
Yes,
and maybe
yes.
get a shot.
Yes, you report to the hospital, and the doctor has a lot of investigation to make, and then decide on what to do. So you get there. So you report to the nearest clinic or healthcare facility, and then they will then be able to handle you as and what is necessary. So that is what happens.
And this, of course, creates quite a situation, because then, in our part of the world, most people would take such things for granted. Oh, you find some antibiotics to take, you put some ointment there, and you're good to go. But this could actually herbs. Sometimes they even compound the situation. They even make the situation worse. Some of them.
Yeah. So the people take herbs. People don't even care what happens. They kill the dog and they try to even eat the dog.
Wait. So for those who eat dogs as well, if you are consuming a dog that is rabid or suffered from rabies, what are the risks?
Very high, because you never know when you have an erosion in your mouth, because the issue is those who are handling the rabid dog, because you are touching or you are meddling with the frank blood. So that is where the problem is. But if it's boiled, it kills the virus and you eat.
So if it is properly cooked,
yes,
but then you can never tell who has processed the food.
Yeah, you never tell.
For those who eat dogs.
Exactly, you never tell. So that is where the risk is.
Right. Let me come to Unistia Jagli, who is Greater Accra Regional Health Promotion Officer. She joins the conversation. Eunice, a very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Why has it become so important? I mean, sometime late last year, early this year, there was talk about rabies, Kumasi, Accra, and all of that. Why has it become important for us to be having these conversations and even talking about the prevalence of rabies?
Thank you. Rabies, as we all know, is a public health concern, because it is a condition that when one person has it or a dog has it, the spread is so fast, depending on how it is handled.
So it's very contagious.
It's contagious because, one, we are increasing the number of dogs we have in our homes and in our vicinities. And most of these dogs have not been vaccinated. Even some of us, we have sent so much to secure the dogs, but we don't see the need to vaccinate them.
People are buying dogs for thousands of dollars and thousands of CDs, and you can't spend. We'll get to that.
And then we play with these dogs. These dogs can lick us as a fan, and if they are rabies and you have a scratch and it licks you, you are likely to have the infection. If it bites you or scratches you, you are likely to have the infection. And the unfortunate thing is from the scratch or the bite to the period that it shows itself, most of us don't think we are at risk. So when it happens, we take it for granted. But at the end of the day, when the virus gets to your brain and your spinal cord, there is no return. It means you are going to die. So when the symptoms...
it's a clear verdict. Once it gets into your nervous system...
That one, forget about it. No amount of drugs can save you.
Because that's what Doc was saying, that
Yes.
once it gets into your nerves or your nervous system, it means...
You are dead.
Drugs can't...
There's no drug that can help. So it is at the point of the scratch or bite or the leak that you can do something to save the situation. And as we speak, many of us are, let me say, ignorant or do not take it serious about what we should do. So at the scratch or bite or the leak, you are expected to do a thorough wash of the place for 15 minutes with soap and water.
Running water.
Running water.
So let's say you've got a bite.
Yes.
You are not sure. So the first aid you can do for yourself is soap, water, wash that place for about 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Why are we doing that? We are doing that to reduce the viral load.
Right.
So if you are able to wash it and the virus did not transmit from there to your brain, you have reduced it. And immediately after that, what do? You report to the nearest hospital so that they look at you, follow up on the dog, and make sure they observe the dog for some time whilst they take you to the needed vaccination or action that needed to be taken. So it is very important because of the no return at the end of the day.
Initial stage is really more than the treatment.
Yes, there's no treatment when it gets to that level. So if you are not aware and you take it for granted, when it gets there, it doesn't matter who you are. That is the end of it.
That is, it's kind of like tetanus, right? You know, many people get scratches.
Once you start
you take it for
sign,
granted. But by the time you start manifesting those signals, it means, I mean, the likelihood of anything being done is negligible.
Only one person, since time history, only one person has survived from clinical rabies.
One person?
One person, Joseph Miss. He is the only person who survived from clinical rabies. The whole world thinks we know of the disease.
So hence, since scientific history has covered rabies, since we got to know that, okay, this thing, we are calling it rabies. This is how it manifests.
Exactly.
And when it gets to this point, it's
the
point of no return. Only one person.
Only one person. Up to date. Only one person. And that person was put into coma. And he was in coma for so many days. And then when he recovers from coma, he was okay. That's all. There is no treatment. There's no
so that is literally one in so many billions.
Yes.
that is 0.0000000.
Chances.
Like, how many zeros? You don't want to take that risk.
No.
You don't. Me, even when I get a scratch from a nail, that is, hey, first thing I'm going to the hospital because, wow. And that is, so in this instance, Eunice, thanks so much for the insight. In this instance, what are we know the telltale signs, but what are some of the manifestations when you show any signs? Does that mean you've reached the point of no return?
You should be bitten by, have a bite from a rabid dog.
No, I'm saying that after that, once you show any, maybe it could be aggression,
fever,
a phobia for water, a fever.
And
once you get there, it means you've crossed the point of no return.
Exactly. When you start showing the signs, it means
there's nothing that can be done.
You have clinical rabies and there's nothing can be done. The doctors have no choice. They have to do something. But they know in them that you will not survive. But mercy, we don't have mercy killing. So they'll put you in the hospital, they chain you to the bed.
There'll be no euthanasia, of course. It's illegal in our country.
That is why I'm saying it's
mercy killing,
it's useless. So they chain you to the bed and try to give you some
show you kindness till eventually your maker calls you.
You are up. And you struggle like a dog. You bark literally like a dog. I've seen it. I've seen a girl, when I was practicing as a clinician, a girl came in and the father gave the history that he was bitten by a dog. And we don't have problem. When such a person comes, we just fetch the water. The moment he sees the water, I can bet you will not like the whole thing.
They become aggressive.
Very aggressive. Very, very aggressive. Because
Hydrophobia.
They have spasm, yeah. They have spasm and it's very painful. So that is the disease rabies. It's a very horrible disease. You would not like to see somebody have it.
You wouldn't wish that even on your worst enemy. You
No.
wouldn't. You wouldn't do that.
Not at all.
So that brings me to the point, Eunice, as the Greater Accra Regional Health Promotion Officer. Why have we waited till now? Is it because it wasn't prevalent or people were not? Because practically, I mean, security-wise, many homes have dogs, cats, and all of that, but usually dogs for protection. And a lot of these people, I remember that report from Kumasi, a lot of these people are not vaccinating their dogs. Very few would have the logbook. This was my last vaccination. This is the next time I have to go for vaccination. Why have we? It may not be so prominent. It may not be killing people like malaria or something, but
It kills. It's killing.
I'm saying the numbers. It may not be.
In Greater Accra alone for the past 3 years, we have over 19,000 cases.
19,000
Yes.
Cases.
over the past 3 years.
Yes.
19,000 people who developed to the point of no return.
Yes. But the fact is that most of these cases are even not reported to the hospital. And the prevalence is so great. Unfortunately, we started by trying to engage the dog owners to understand the importance, because when you break the chain, like we talk about human herd immunity, if you break the chain by ensuring you vaccinate the dogs, the spread reduces and human beings become safe just like the dogs. And we realized that since the majority are not informed, when they are exposed, they don't take the action. So we see the need to come out and ensure that people get to understand. So the window of incubation where you can do something to save the situation, people can actually take the needed action so that they don't get to the point of getting the rabies, which is point of no return. So in fact, there were so many issues that had hindered the publicity and then community sensitization on this issue. By looking at the rate at which we are getting the cases, it has become very important, something that we cannot put on the shelves.
Don't sweep it under the carpet.
Sweep it under the carpet. So we have to start, and we are grateful for you giving us the opportunity. We have done that in some other media houses, GBC, and we are doing it in the community. And we appreciate other media houses giving us the opportunity to do this education.
Right.
Because sometimes it might not be you even owning the dog.
Yeah, someone else's.
Exactly. Your children might not be the owners of the dog, but they work in the community, and you and I can attest to the fact that we have a lot of stray dogs going around. Even those in our home, visitors will come to you, and before you realize you are not at home, you have not vaccinated. What about you yourself? There was a case where this gentleman had a visitor, the dog attacked, he was trying to separate, and the dog bit all over him because he was fighting with the dog. If you don't take the needed action immediately to prevent the virus from reaching your nervous system, then you are in trouble.
Okay, so we have to wrap this conversation. It's been such good education, and I feel we're going to do our best to promote this, put it out there in our bulletins. We've been talking about some of these. But to wrap off the cap of the conversation, vaccination for those who own these. By the way, birds, for example, people keep canaries, parrots,
Birds,
all of those macaques and all of that.
Birds cannot get rabies.
They can't get it.
They can't
all
get
right. So just to clarify, I'm posing some of these questions so that pet owners will also know.
Yeah.
Where do people get vaccinations? How much does it cost? Final comments. What's the way forward? I'll start
Animal
with
vaccination, the nearest veterinary clinic.
nearest veterinary clinic. Right.
Yes, and actually it's being subsidized by government through the veterinary services. And
It's being subsidized.
It's very affordable. Yeah, it's very affordable.
About how much? Because
About
I think it's
20,
just a
30
few
cedis.
CDs.
Yes.
20, 30 CDs.
Yes. And your dog is protected
per
for the
animal.
whole year. Yes, per animal. The dog is protected the whole year.
So why would
Just
you
one
want to
shot.
risk? Why would you want
And
to
that
risk it?
prevents the disease getting into the human beings. No,
Oh, that means that even if the dog gets it,
Yes.
it can't transfer it.
no, it will.
The zoonotic
Once it's
cycle.
vaccinated, it will not get sick.
It will not get it.
It will not get sick. And we need to vaccinate 70% of over 3 million dogs in the country. You know where we are now?
We need to vaccinate over 70%.
70%.
So that's sort of like get some herd immunity or a
Yes,
threshold we
exactly.
have
She
to. A
mentioned-
threshold we have to
Yes,
cross.
but you know where we are here today?
Tell me.
2%.
We need to get to 70% of 3 million plus dogs.
Yes, we have
and we are
annually
2%.
2% vaccinated. Even under 2%. The last meeting we had 2%.
Eunice, how can we, I mean, you know, human beings, if you don't push the law, what can we do? What do we do? That's the final word, and then we'll have to go.
We believe in behavior change.
Yeah.
And behavior change has to do with people knowing the fact and seeing the risk and accepting the risk and then taking the informed decision. So enforcing the law is important, but people understanding why they should vaccinate their dogs. And the benefit of the vaccination to they themselves, their children, and then the family and friends, I think will be a motivation for most of them to do the needful. So we are using this opportunity to appeal to all dog owners, or if you have a friend or a family member who owns a dog, that there is a need for us to go and do that vaccination. Even we are doing campaigns for free at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are campaigns going on for free. So get to your nearest district veterinary office. If you go to the private veterinary services, you have to pay.
Okay, so that's private.
That's private.
But the districts,
because we
government,
have-
public ones,
Yes.
you can go to them. Are you saying that I
the
just have to
campaign-
clarify.
after the
Since you are
campaign
talking
is for free.
about 3 million dogs and all of that, does that mean if all of these people were to rush and go to the vaccination centers, would they be able to get vaccines?
We have a lot. For the last meeting
all right.
we had, I know we have a lot of vaccine, about 2
Available.
million available. If we are able to use it, we will be able to secure
Okay.
more.
Also,
Thank
the
you.
most
Thank you.
important-
Thank you so
It's
much.
The rural areas. That is where our concern is. It's not in the city. The city people can afford to some extent, as saying, but in the rural areas, where will people go?
So what do we do? Should we make it for free?
It's good. For now, it's
That's
going
also
for
not
free.
possible.
It's for free.
Now it's going for free, but their readiness to bring the dogs is very important.
All right.
So we
I
want
guess
you to
this is-
tell a friend.
We have to go. So
tell a
we have
friend
to go.
make sure
We have to
they
It's
go.
unfortunate.
But thank you.
Such a
Thank you
short
so
time.
much for.
we hope you
I mean,
put
it's
us
short, but
another time.
it's been insightful on the
Yeah.
show. Dr. Richard Suire is senior lecturer, University of Ghana School of Veterinary Medicine. He's also president of the Rabies in West Africa, Ghana, a local NGO involved in rabies prevention. We also had Eunice Tia Jagli, Greater Accra Regional Health Promotion Officer with the Ghana Health Service. Lady, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us.